until I've got those belts. Well, he gets that opportunity in just a few days' time. Just down the road from where we are now, Alexander Usyk and Энтони Джошуа, all of those questions that we've been asking all week. To be honest, all of those questions that we've been asking since the first fight, they will be answered.
Yeah, fascinating fight, really. You know, the Ruiz rematch was a fascinating one. We were thinking, you know, immediate rematch. What will his, you know, mentality be like, you know, psychologically? Will there be scars there? Will he be gun-shy? You know, we didn't know what to expect, but, you know, he got the job done. He lost nearly a stone in weight. He likes the challenge. He spoke with AJ. They spoke in depth. He had several conversations, and he liked what he heard. He thinks he wanted to know, does he still have the love for it? Does he still have the ambition? And, you know, he said that he was happy that he did have that, and he said he can work with him.
And you'd think by Энтони Джошуа taking himself out of a comfort zone, and I'm not saying that living up in Sheffield away from his family was any sort of comfort zone, but he was a world-class elite amateur in the Sheffield setup, and he stayed there as a professional. He's decided to decamp to Loughborough and then to come out here weeks and weeks in advance. That shows he's not prepared to settle for what worked for him before and probably what was comfortable to him.
Yeah. He really wants it. He's a wounded animal. His pride's hurt, and he wants revenge. He wants redemption, and he still has ambitions. He wants to go on and still achieve more things in boxing. This isn't the end of the road for him, or he certainly doesn't want it to be the end of the road for him. If he did, he'd have just stayed. He'd have just stuck to what he knew, stayed with what was familiar, stayed up in Sheffield. But he hasn't. He's gone out there. He's travelled around America. He spoke with several trainers. This wasn't a knee-jerk reaction. You know, I've got to be honest. Speaking with Robert Garcia earlier, I thought this was probably a 70-30 fight in favour of Usyk. You know, now having spoken to Robert Garcia, I'm starting to think it's 60-40, if not more.
Just to address the dynamic here, the pad work is coming actually from Angel Fernandez. That shouldn't be too much of a surprise. He was retained from the previous camp, renowned as a brilliant pad man, and that may sound an insult to some people, because people say, oh, just a pad man. It sounds like an insult. Angel, a very good trainer of Richard Riakporhe and Kieran Malloy and other fighters in his own right. But Robert Garcia takes a step back here to observe. And he's just, you can't quite hear him, but he's just watching from afar, which is an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, well, you know, you see that with other fighters as well. I've seen lots of trainers, head trainers, have another guy giving the pads, and they can stand back and watch. It gives them a different perspective.
It's still only one voice in the corner, though, and that will be Robert Garcia's. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's the key element. You know, I don't think that the key. Robert Garcia won't, I don't believe, brings a major thing. You know, ain't going to change anything really gym-wise, but it's the mindset, the conversation, and the corner work on the night.
Is he showing us anything here that we can take note of?
I don't think so, you know, but I've noticed it's all on the front foot. He's not moved around the ring, backing up here. He's holding the centre of the ring, and yeah, and Anders, the guy doing covering the rounds. He's working, doing the peripheral. It's AJ holding the centre of the ring, and looking, you know, they're working on body shots.
Yeah, that was really interesting, wasn't it? Robert Garcia just broke the work there and just sort of feinted a shot to the body.
Yep.
I mean, the talk of tactics is fascinating. I know it is our job to dissect absolutely everything, but difficult to think of a fight that we've done in the recent times where tactics is spoke about so much that so much is there to be discussed.
Yeah, well, I think it was so obvious from the fight that, you know, tactically they got it wrong. You know, they boxed with the boxer and they got it wrong. So, you know, it's clear to, I think, everyone that this time he can't afford to do that. He's got to take the fight to Usyk.
And there is barely any room to operate here. Every single camera lens in the room that was either doing interviews or live streaming is now tuned on this relatively small ring in the middle of the Saudi city here in Jeddah. The rematch for the IBF, WBA and WBO heavyweight titles, and this week the Ring magazine added to the mix as well as Tyson Fury vacates. The countdown on now. just hours until everybody decamps just down the road to the King Abdullah Sports City Arena, Saturday night. I wonder if Alexander Usyk will be watching this as Anthony Joshua punches the mitt out of Angel Fernandez's grasp. I'm just looking around. Usyk was based in a squash court just around the corner from my line of sight. He isn't watching. I know he did watch in London. We don't believe he's actually made it to the arena yet. So he's definitely chosen not to watch. Hopefully, wherever you are, Alexander, you're watching on our live stream. Thank you for joining us if you are. Joshua with the boots. He's got roaring lions on the outside, and on the instep of both boots, he has the Union Jack and the colours of the Nigerian flag with hustle. And of course, his management company 258 branding on there. And Eddie Hearn, obviously, as is his